G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. Today I want to talk about the things I want to achieve on the desktop and the base and the overall running of the system. As you all know, I've been working on scripts and these scripts, bash scripts here, I've been working on for my admin and set up on a new install. But the other one I've been working on is the Flatpak install as well. So that's the other one I've been working on. Now, I've heard people say, I'm on Arch at the moment, the Easy Archer, and I'm running the GNOME desktop. And I've heard people say in the past, why would you run Flatpaks on Arch? Because everything's available. And it's a good question, I must say. And there are some reasons why I wanted to do that. I wanted to try and get myself some sort of stability, whether I'm on a rolling distro or whether I'm on a stable distro or a long-term support type distro. These are the Flatpaks I've decided to run with, and also I've got the other one, which is the admin one, and there's certain things you can install on there, which is the and I've separated that from my Coles admin. This is the PCTLC admin. So this one runs you through some certain things, whether you're on Ubuntu based or Debian based or Arch. These should work. Don't think I've tested them all out yet. I've still got to test them out. I'm pretty sure they should be okay. Now, if we have a look at, with the GNOME desktop, you get the software that comes with it. And if we have a look at installed, I've got Kdenlive here, which is a Flatpak, and that is version, where's the version number? 21.12.2. I'm actually quite liking that version. I'm a bit hesitant to update to the next Kdenlive because you get so used to working around existing bugs. I know it sounds weird, but that's the way you've got to work with Kdenlive. And I have contributed towards getting rid of bugs in Kdenlive. It's been getting better and better every time. I've just recently used this version and it works quite well. So the plan there is, if I bring over my cherry tree here and check that out, you can mask a Flatpak. And I know you can pin applications as well. Haven't really learned to do that. I'd have to think you can do it on Arch, or I know you can definitely do it on Ubuntu. You can pin apps. Never really learned how to do that. But on here I can, for example, if I was to install Signal, I can mask Flatpak mask Flatpak mask and the install command of Signal, which would be, if we have a look at the Flatpaks, open that, and if we have a look at Signal down here, P, so if we go to P there, so org.signal.signal, so that's got to be the same command for Flatpak install. So you can mask that, which is what I've done with Kdenlive. Now, I don't know whether I can reinstall the same. So if I jump ship and go and move from Arch Linux and go to Debian, I don't know if there's any guarantees that that would be the same version at that point in time. So I'd probably just have to stick with whatever the version is and get used to using that. At the moment I'm pretty sure I've masked Kdenlive in here. So list all masked Flatpaks. So let's have a look at that. So it's Flatpak mask. And yes, I've masked Kdenlive. So that stays on the same version. I can do the same thing for OBS, which I haven't done yet. It's mainly OBS and Kdenlive are the two main ones that I want to keep on the same version so they don't change too much. That way you can continue to work with the versions that you got, and once you've got it set up, it doesn't change too much. And like I said, the problem is if you do happen to go somewhere else and install Flatpak again of those particular apps, and there's no guarantees it's going to be that version. But with this, when you do an update, so Flatpak update, what it does is it actually updates everything except for those ones that are masked. So if we do a Flatpak update, and there's a Telegram update there. I won't update that at the moment, but I'm happy for all other Flatpaks to update and just keep those core apps that I rely on to do video editing at the same version. So that's my plan. So at the moment I'm running Arch Linux. Now I think there's a problem with, this is my Easy Archer anyway. Let's just go to install. Let's have a look at what I've got here. I think you'll find that OBS is a Flatpak as well. Now I know they've got different channels, but it doesn't, the channels don't come up here. Sometimes on other bases you get a channel option. I'm not sure about that. So the only option I've got there actually is Arch Linux packages. Now I have seen in certain times, maybe there's a plugin that you have to put in. You can, there's different branches. You've got stable. I don't know what the other branches are, but I have seen different branches of Flatpak. So that might be worth looking at. So if I do go to another, if I do go to a different base and I want that version, it might be a chance to stick with that version and mask it. I'm not really sure about that. And then you've got Signal here, which is another Flatpak, stable branch as well. So they're all stable branch. So I've just done a normal install, and this is a Flatpak as well. Now I don't have many problems with Telegram, and the other one would be Zoom. I've been using the Zoom Flatpak for a very long time. And just recently I had some problems connecting before we did a Linux Saloon video, and I did have some problems getting sound in that. I don't know what that was all about, but that was on the Easy Arch Linux base. But I eventually got it working. I don't know what that was all about. Must have been an update to Zoom. Don't normally have those issues, probably because I jumped ship pretty quickly and that morning got it all up and running. So that can be a problem too. You're taking a risk if you're doing those sorts of things. So this is my PC TLC website. You're probably all familiar with this. I've done videos on that before, but I'm just going to jump over to the Debian page. And I was thinking about going back to Debian and seeing the differences between Arch Linux and Debian. Debian is just straight out stable. It's got an older kernel, and I can still have the up-to-date software that I need on Debian by using Flatpaks. And that's the reason why you'll see in my Flatpaks here. So you'll see in my Flatpaks here, I've got LibreOffice, which I haven't installed Flatpak for that on Arch because it's updating. So don't need to worry about that. And LibreOffice is always good to have the latest. And installing the Flatpaks that I need in regards to Kdenlive and OBS, I don't have any dependency issues as well. That's another thing. And I can mask it and unmask it if I wish. There'd be no dependency issues. So that's another good thing that I find is pretty handy using the Flatpaks as well, especially on Arch, and then I can go to Debian and have the same one. So I'm not jumping from older apps to newer apps. I can go with stable or I can go with rolling, and I can have these universal applications, a bit like the DeLorean and the people within the DeLorean. That's traveling back in time and forward in time. They don't change. They're always the same people. It's Flatpaks are the DeLorean of my desktop, so to speak. But this is the what I've been looking at, the advantages of Flatpaks, and making my own scripts and just installing them with whatever base that I'm going with. So I was thinking about going back to Debian, because I have run Debian quite a fair bit in the past, and I had problems getting Cherry Tree through Debian, which I use as a Flatpak as well. So there are certain applications that you cannot get sometimes within Debian, but the Flatpaks have made that really easy to do. So I've got into the habit of whether I'm on rolling Arch Linux or stable Debian or just Ubuntu, I've got used to just installing the Flatpak and just work with that. And just recently, as you're probably well aware, Peppermint has just had another release. I'm not sure if it's called Peppermint 11. A lot of people are calling it that. I called it that. It's based on Debian 11. I don't know if it's got a release number actually, because the download file was a bit of a weird name. Where is it? Downloads. Peppermint OS AMD 64. Didn't have a Peppermint OS 11 or anything like that, which is interesting. Peppermint I normally use on, where is it? So this bad boy here is still running Peppermint 10 respin. So that's been running Peppermint since probably Peppermint 7, Peppermint 8. I just keep updating it, and it's dual booting with Windows. I'll just take Windows off of there. I think I don't use it much anymore. The problem with Windows is it doesn't have enough space to update, and I keep having update issues. I reinstalled Windows on that, and it's still having update issues. So I probably need to make the partition bigger, but I think I'll allocate all of Peppermint on that. So I'll be trying Peppermint on that HP, and I may even install it on my main system. The problem is Peppermint's XFCE. Don't have a problem with XFCE. I just prefer, I tend to gravitate towards Cinnamon and the GNOME desktop. And you've got this new GNOME desktop here, which I'm quite liking. And that's the sort of thing I can get on Arch Linux is the updated desktop, whereas on Debian it won't be. So whether I try Peppermint 11 on my main system and use something like uLauncher, can still give you a similar, won't give you this activities overview for sure, but gives you a nice launcher to work with anyway. And yes, the other script that I have is the install of Plex, which I've got a Plex system running. It's working quite well, and I'm pretty happy with that with the Easy Archer install. Now, I haven't uploaded those scripts yet. I've just got to go through and check them all. Time is the issue. There's never enough time. I think I'm at work more than I'm at home. So that becomes an issue when you're trying to do these sorts of things. So I just need to do some testing on those in VirtualBox and make sure that all those scripts are working. I know the Plex ones do. There's no problem there. But it's the other one, the PCTLC admin. It's the PCTLC admin that I haven't checked all those yet. I'm pretty sure they'll be okay. And I've named what they're installing from, whether it's AUR, wget, whatever. I've made sure that people know what they're installing from. Made it nice and transparent. Yeah, so that was one of my plans. Besides doing the Easy Arch ISOs, I've got to do them again. I've got Telegram and Signal installed by default. I didn't realize that because I actually was using the Flatpaks and I realized I had 2 installs of each, and I didn't realize that I'd had them switched on the ISO. So I don't really want to give those applications by default on my Arch distro. I'd prefer that people make the choice whether they want to install that stuff or not. So I'm just going to remove those 2 and probably respin a couple more and see how it goes. If we check out uname -a on in the terminal here, I'm on 5.16. Now, Pop! OS was running 5.15, I think, 2110. And this Arch Linux here is running 5.16. On both of those, I've noticed some really weird things. Bluetooth especially. I've got to manually connect Bluetooth through the settings. And even that can be just a real pain at times, just trying to get it to, it just keeps flicking off, flicking on, flicking off, flicking on all the time. It's a real pain. And this happened in Pop! OS, and it's happening on Arch Linux as well. So it's nothing to do with the Easy Arch ISO. And I don't think it's anything to do with Pop! OS. I have to think it's the kernel, possibly, because it doesn't happen on two different machines. And also shut down anomalies as well. I'll shut down my system, I'll power off, and it's rebooting again. So that's really weird as well. So I have to think there's some issues with the kernel. Unless it's the desktop environment, because I've been using, well, Pop uses the GNOME desktop, their own GNOME desktop, and I'm using the GNOME desktop here. Which one am I using? Let's have a look. So yes, I'm using GNOME 41.3. I don't know if that's if that could be the issue or not. I'm running X11 because I can't record in Wayland, so that's still a problem at the moment. And as you can see, we are rolling with Arch Linux. I think I want to go back to an older kernel to see whether these types of things are not happening on my system. So I probably need to go back a few kernels. The 5.15, I think, is when it started. Once I went from 2104 to 2110 on Pop! OS, that's when all these little anomalies started happening on the desktop. And no matter whether I was on Pop! OS, Arch Linux, same thing, same deal, still happening. So that's just a quick rundown on why I've been making these bash scripts, just in case anyone was wondering why on earth you would run Flatpaks on Arch Linux. Well, there are some reasons. I have some reasons just for stability purposes. So you can have a little bit of stability on a rolling system, and you can have more updated apps on a stable system, hence the thumbnail. So that's what I was sort of looking at, and that's where I see Flatpaks really coming in handy. So I haven't used snaps for this example. I've used Flatpaks only, and I've got really used to using Flatpaks. So for some reason, I just gravitated towards them. I was using snaps to start with on Ubuntu, and they had these loop things all showing up in the file system. I don't think it does that anymore, but once I started using Flatpaks, and I think Flatpaks had some certain apps that Snap Store didn't have as well that I wanted, so I just went with Flatpaks. But I'm happy I did, because I'm fairly happy with them. I'm just committed to those right now. So that's what I've been up to recently, and that's been a bit of a mission of mine to get some sort of universal stability regardless of base that I'm running on, to keep things consistent within my operating system. So anyway, that's enough of that. I just thought I'd share what sort of goal that I've been trying to achieve with all these things, just in case people were wondering what I was up to with all these bash scripts. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little chat of mine. Hope you found it interesting and informative, and thanks for watching.